And we are live. Welcome back, everybody. Hello, Trumpet, and hello, Roy. How's everybody doing tonight? Hey, Luke. Okay. I have a pen and a tablet pen thing here. Have to make sure I use the correct one. Hello, Rikush. Welcome, welcome. How you doing? It says, I missed you guys last week. We missed you too. It's good to have you back. Okay, so since the revealed clock, I need to title my page here. And also,
here I am at the railroad station along with a handful of other detectives about to board a train bound for who knows where. The only person who knows where we're going is Lori Gerard. Here I am at the railroad station.
Okay. Kush says, I'm fine, thanks, playing Frontiers of Pandora now. Oh, I haven't heard of that one. Trumpet says, when I actually have to be in the office with lots of in-person time with my coworkers, it's a little harder to be on Twitch. Oh, that sounds miserable. Luke says it's an Avatar game. I wondered. The blue people. Okay. Haven't actually seen the movies. Alright. Last train to Blue Moon Canyon. Okay. It says it was a good week, but it's nice to be home. I'll bet. Yeah, now that I've had a taste of working at home, I don't know how anyone ever switches back. You know? Hey, Roy. I've been trying to play Baldur's Gate in my copious free time. It's going a little slow. But I've been having a lovely time. So it was the night before last, I was playing Baldur's Gate 3, and my character got to the first, this is the first time I've seen one of these, she got to the first scene where there's like flirting. And I legitimately was so flustered that I had to step out of the room for a minute and calm down. Like, they're flirting. They're just flirting. I write romance. Ow. Sorry. Like, I write romance. Why am I like, oh my goodness, they're flirting. Like, really? Trumpet says my job's always been remote with 2 to 3 week-long trips to HQ every year. Interesting. I have not done much in the way of jobs, so I haven't had a lot of variety. Hey Boomer, welcome, welcome. How you doing? Right,
welcome to my latest case, Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon. To start, choose Junior or Senior Detective. If you're new to adventure games or need some help, click on Tutorial.
Oh, you know what? I think I can figure out how to play it. Doing okay. Good. I'd write romance, but I can't remember what to write anymore. I'm a tad bit rusty trying to get back into it. Oh yeah, look, you really need to remind me to send you that short story, because apparently I will never remember on my own.
Dear Hannah,
Okay.
here I am at the railroad station along with a handful of other detectives about to board a train bound for who knows where. The only person who knows where we're going is Laurie Gerard. That's the young woman who invited everyone. Actually, she didn't really invite me. She invited Frank and Joe Hardy, and they invited me. And I've always wanted to join forces with the Hardy Boys. I just hope this doesn't turn out to be another one of Laurie's silly attempts to grab publicity. Some people can be a little too rich and a little too famous for their own good. Wish me luck. Love, Nancy.
Well, people, now that our little orientation tour is over, let's get started. Okay, I, again, am Laurie Gerard, and the first thing I want to do is thank you all for coming. John Gray. I am so thrilled that you're taking time out from that TV show of yours to do some ghost hunting here with us. I mean, Ghost Chasers is like the best cable show ever. And Charlena Purcell. I cannot tell you how much I adore those romance novels you write. Your characters just seem so real. And all that stuff you know about the Old West, you are just awesome. And Tino Balducci, only the most famous police detective in the country. And then there's Frank and Joe Hardy. They're amateur detectives. My dad and their dad are old friends. And you must be the other amateur detective, their friend? Natalie?
Nancy. Nancy Drew?
Whatever. All right, I'll bet you're wondering where we're going. Well, we're going to Copper Gorge, Colorado. Why? To solve the mystery of what happened to Jake Hurley, the man who originally owned this train. Because see, one day in 1903, this train was found in a place called Blue Moon Canyon, which was out in the middle of the Nevada desert. Only the engineer was on board, and he was dead. As for Jake Hurley, he had disappeared from the face of the earth. Oh, and two more things. Before he disappeared, Jake was rumored to have found the richest gold mine in the world. And the train he owned, this train, his wife Camille died on it while they were going to the gold fields. It was rumored to be haunted.
She's gone.
Oh my gosh.
What in the world?
What the?
Hey, what's going on?
People should never go tampering with things they don't understand.
Oh, brother.
It's okay. Everybody just stay calm. No need to panic. I'll get to the bottom of this.
Well, Nancy, you're up on all that social etiquette stuff. What are you supposed to do when your hostess vanishes into thin air?
If I don't seem concerned, it's because I'm not. Laurie Gerard is a young woman whose only goal in life is to be famous. She craves attention and habitually uses her father's considerable wealth to get it.
All right. Yes, Hardy Boys crossover. Like, is it just me, or were the graphics better in the previous game? Maybe it's just me. Did you see the shade the Hardy Boys gave when they were called amateur detectives? Oh, yeah. Also, like, her being like, they're amateur detectives. Their dad and my dad are old friends. It's like, oh, it's that thing where your parents are friends, so you have to play with those kids. All right. Also, like, love that it's like a spooky old train with a ghost. That's a vibe.
So you think her disappearing like that is just some kind of publicity stunt?
I just think she couldn't resist showing off in front of all of us minor celebrities. What was your name again?
Nancy Drew. You and I have actually met. Sort of. I called you not too long ago when I was at Shadow Ranch. You gave me some information about Dirk Valentine.
Ah, Nancy Drew.
You don't remember me, do you?
No.
Yeah, it looks out of focus to me too. Spoiler warning, the Hardy Boys do look better in this game than they do in the next game that they're in.
What else do you know about Jake Hurley?
Psst, Nancy! Come here!
Excuse me for a second.
Okay. That's a very fancy rug. Alright.
Is this Jake and his wife?
Yes. From what I've read, Camille loved to sing and dance, even in death, apparently. Jake reportedly told people that after she died, he would sometimes see strange glowing lights outside the windows at night, bobbing gracefully alongside the train as if dancing with it. He said he found the sight very comforting. I suspect normal people would have found it terrifying.
That's actually quite sweet. I like that. Alright, party boys.
Hey, Nance.
Where have you two been?
I followed Tino Balducci.
And I went after John Gray. He went straight to the room in the car that used to be Camille's and didn't come out again. I could hear all these weird noises coming from inside.
That is a low voice. Good grief, Frank. Alright. Weird noises.
Any idea what he was doing?
I was just about to go in, but the next thing I know, Joe's got my arm in a vice grip and is dragging me back here, babbling about how Balducci's our guy.
He found something on the floor right where Laurie was standing when the train went dark. I saw him pick it up and put it in his pocket. Then he left.
Like, they look a little bit more low poly than the previous couple games. I don't know, like I said, there's a whole streak of games that I like, and then this one is a dip, and then I like them again for another while. Which, it's very sad to me that this one's a dip, because it's on a train where the entire thing is a puzzle. Haunted train that's made of puzzles sounds like it should be the best thing ever.
Did you see what it was?
When I tried to talk to him, he just kind of brushed me aside and said something snotty like, "I'm on the job here, Junior, so just go back to the playground and stay out of the way." In case you two hadn't noticed, we're not getting a lot of respect around here. Can't we at least tell Balducci that we do stuff for ATAC?
You know the rules.
ATAC?
American Teens Against Crime. We do a lot of undercover work for them.
Wonder Cop's probably never even been undercover.
Joe, let it go. What'd Charlena have to say?
She thinks Laurie is faking this whole disappearance thing.
She's not the only one.
How can you say that? You heard Laurie scream.
Anybody can scream, Joe. Especially girls whose fathers have given them acting lessons along with everything else they've ever wanted.
What about you, Nancy? What do you think?
I kind of agree with Frank.
You've got to be kidding.
I'm that cynical, okay, Joe?
Has anyone talked to the engineer?
Not that I know of.
Then I'm going to head up front and tell him what's happened. Maybe he knows something we don't.
Good idea. In the meantime, we'll take another look around in here.
Great. Catch you later.
Trumpet asks bitter much. Joe for being snubbed by this Balducci guy. Do your conversation choices impact gameplay? Like, mostly no. It's like some of them just affect kind of what kind of person you play Nancy as. You can play her more sweet, you can play her more sassy. I tend to lean sweet. But also, like, it can affect how much information you get from people. Hang on. They reused one of the counters from Secret of Shadow Ranch. That was a kitchen counter in Shadow Ranch. One of the ones with no cabinets. So yeah, your conversation choices will affect how many clues you get. And as long as you solve all of the puzzles, like physically solve all of the puzzles, then you will get to the end and find out who the bad guy is. But the more clues you collect from people, the more context you have for the story, and And the more likely it is that you can have a chance to figure out who done it before the reveal.
A square and a duck.
So it's more for you than for Nancy.
It looks like this thing opens up. But how?
Square and duck.
Engineer, what do you want?
Hello, I'm one of the passengers, and I just thought you should know that Laurie Gerard has disappeared.
So?
Hey, Benjamin. Welcome, welcome. Yes, not quite as sophisticated as Baldur's Gate, but still fun. Like the ending will be the same no matter what you do.
Did you know she was going to disappear?
Hey, all I know is I take orders from Miss Gerard, okay? Right now my orders are to get this train to Copper Gorge non-stop. And until Miss Gerard tells me otherwise, that's what I'm gonna do.
Trumpet says, ah, so Nancy's smarter than us. Got it. Luke says, Nancy is smarter than everyone. This is completely true.
Shouldn't you at least call the authorities?
It'll be my pleasure, just as soon as Miss Gerard orders me to.
But-
Now if you'll excuse me, I got me a train to run.
Alrighty, have fun.
Looks like some sort of steam valve.
Not open unless all pipes are connected. Okay, and I'd rather not fall out of the train and die. Boomer says, I'm looking on Amazon at an 18,000 piece jigsaw puzzle. We'll probably skip. Well, it depends. Do you ever want to have another hobby again for the rest of your life, or do you just want to put together a puzzle? Flippy Fins freshly canned salmon, fresh from a hand from the deep. Okay. Salmon canners for a very, very long time. That's glorious.
Sadie Crawford.
Okay. Oh, I'm gonna need that later, I think. I think she was Sadie Crawford. Pink shoes. Sadie Crawford. Okay.
It looks like there's something behind this painting, but I can't seem to move it.
Okay. Notice the word Ruffy on the sign. On this one? J.R. Ruffy and Sons? I don't know that I know the context for that.
Yes?
I hope I'm not disturbing you.
You are, but I'm quite used to disturbances. You see, I'm writing my next book. I'm on a deadline, so until I write those two most wonderful of all three-letter words, the end, everywhere I go, my laptop goes, and every chance I get, I write.
Hey Luke, sound familiar? Boomer says Orange Ruffy is a fish. Oh, interesting! There we go, we learned about a joke in here that I'd never known. See, you get more out of it when you play with friends.
What else do you know about Jake Hurley? You know, the man who originally owned this train?
Wealthy, imaginative, adventurous, stubborn, egocentric, and most importantly, he was smitten at the age of 35 by a young French woman named Camille Voulet, who died about a year after they were married.
Luke can indeed relate. Everywhere my laptop goes, I go. Or everywhere I go, my laptop goes. I am so scrambled today. I'm not the only one. Everybody that I know is scrambled today. Luke says, I relate to the writer. I'm not a fish most of the time.
When did he buy this train?
Sometime in the 1870s, he decided to seek his fortune out west. So he had this train custom built so that he, and some years later his wife, could traverse the mountains and plains in relative comfort.
Where did he meet Camille?
I don't know that. The circumstances surrounding her passing are a bit of a mystery, too. All anyone knows for sure is that years after Camille's death, he showed up in Denver with a pouch full of gold nuggets and semi-precious stones, which he used to purchase mining supplies. He refused to say how he'd come by them, which of course led to speculation that he had found a fantastically rich vein somewhere. Although to this day, its existence remains unsubstantiated, and its location quite unknown.
Boomer says he's found a 33,600 piece puzzle. I'll pass. Why are you looking at the biggest puzzles you can find? Like wanting to get into puzzling and just start at the top and work your way down?
Why do you think Lori invited you on this trip?
No doubt because I'm such an authority on life in the Old West, and because I'm so good at using old information to unearth new information. My knack for research is, well, it's a gift.
Hey.
I'll let you get back to your writing.
Let me know if you run across anything juicy.
Hey. I was inspired by the mention of puzzles in this game. Ah! Ooh, the doors are sliding. That's good to know. Ooh.
Pretty. Looks like some kind of gemstone.
Ooh. Alright. Let's see here. Light. Go up at the top. Yes. Oh. Right. Hello, Chiller. Welcome, enjoy your lurk. Just dropping in to say hey, glad you're streaming. Hope everyone is doing well. We are. This one goes at the top. This will be one of the bottom corners. Be this one. Make this one this. There and there and there. Ah! Roy says the lady with the bun that's too tight in her hair did it. Ah, so your bet is on Charlena Purcell.
Left pickaxe and lamp with Buell for safekeeping. To open what's closed, lead is the key. Or is it lead is the key?
Alright.
This must have been the sleeping car.
Cute. I like the lamps. A Tale of Two Dolls. Ill-tempered Edna could not get her way. She couldn't get Alice to come out and play. I can't, I'm too tired, is what Alice said. I just want to go straight back to bed. Edna angrily tried to make herself heard, but all that came out was one two-part word. Why, I'm not your mother, yawning Alice replied, till Edna the Terrible finally gave up and cried. Okay. Hang on, so the takeaways here are that Edna the Terrible says Mama. Roy says, I'm sure she did something illegal. The bun tells the truth. Right, so one that says Mama is Edna the Terrible. Edna the Terrible. And then there's a sleepy one. Alright, enjoy your lurk. Called Yawning Alice. Okay. Oh. this?
I need 4 numbers to unlock this, and there's, what, 10,000 possible combinations? Guessing could take me a while.
All right. Zoop. That is some bold wallpaper. Okay. This is cute. Very long and skinny, but cute.
Hi, you're that Nancy person. How you doing? John Gray.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I've seen your TV show.
Then I don't have to explain what I'm doing.
Yeah, you do.
Right now I'm taking time-lapse electromagnetic readings and recording background noise. This was Camille's private car. If she had something to do with Lori's disappearance, analyzing these readings may give me a clue as to Lori's whereabouts.
You think she was kidnapped by a ghost? Okay, the influencer was kidnapped by a ghost.
Are you saying that Camille's ghost kidnapped Lori?
What to most people are ghosts are actually temporary distortions in local electromagnetic fields caused by the presence of residual psychic energy generated by the person or persons who frequented that particular locale. That's my working theory, at least.
Okay, that still doesn't explain how a temporary electromagnetic distortion could kidnap someone.
That's very interesting.
It's all very scientific. But the fact is, Lori's missing, and I, for one, am doing everything in my power to find her. The vibes I'm getting make me think she could be in serious trouble.
His very scientific vibes? Boomer says he did it. Okay, we have 1 vote for Charlena and 1 vote for, was it John Gray?
Charlena Purcell thinks Lori is just playing some kind of joke on us.
Charlena Purcell writes romance novels. End of comment.
Oh, the shade. I'm being attacked.
Is Lori a friend of yours?
First time I met her was when I boarded this train with all the rest of you. I knew her by reputation, of course, like everyone else who reads the tabloids. It doesn't appear that anyone aboard this train is her friend.
Maybe she doesn't have any friends.
Wouldn't be surprised. Maybe you can be too rich after all.
Roy says it might make sense if, basically, if the electromagnetic field zapped someone into the next reality over. Okay. It makes at least as much sense as anything he's said.
What do you think of Tino Balducci?
I kind of feel sorry for the guy. After catching those bank robbers, he can't just be a good cop anymore. He's got to be a great cop. Tough to perform under that kind of pressure.
I'll let you get back to work.
Pleasure talking to you.
Okay. Ooh. It's got one of those Tiffany-style lamps. What's this thing do?
This looks like some sort of game.
Okay. Oh.
Shoot!
Alright, let's try the skin. It's playing Camptown Races. How long do you have to keep doing this for?
I did it!
Okay.
Wonder what's in here.
Okay. We found music.
Teddy Eberhardt.
Okay. Teddy Eberhardt. Krollmeister doll works. Krollmeister makes everything. Okay. Plaid. Betty Eberhart. In the days before iPhones, the game that rocked a nation. Yeehaw. Eberhart. Okay. I'm gonna get yelled at.
Don't do that, please. Those microphones I set up over there are very sensitive. Just about took out my eardrums. You can play that thing when I'm done. I'll let you know when that is, all right?
Okay.
Okay.
I wonder what's under here, and what the deal is with those weird-looking bolts.
Okay, so we probably need a weird-looking
Looks like
screwdriver.
some kind of sewing sampler. I wonder if there's a relationship between those symbols and those numbers.
Let's see, there's... like there might be a grumpy one in a yellow dress. Okay, so far we've seen something with an eagle on it. Okay. That's a 2. We've seen a square, which is a 4. We've seen a duck. Say 1. There's cherries, which is 10. And an owl. Boop. Boop. Which is a 7. Okay.
Looks like Camille was teaching herself how to play the piano.
Okay. Oh, all right.
Thomasina O'Neill.
Okay, a couple of these I'm gonna have to look back at when I know what I need to know about them.
It's locked.
Okay. Need a key for that. Oh!
Hello?
Nancy, hi, it's me.
Hi.
Hi, Bess.
And me.
Hey, George, what's up?
What's up? You're the one who's on the train with a bunch of famous people. You tell us. This is torture, Nancy. I'm dying of curiosity here. Bess, just calm down. Oh, like you're not just as curious as I am. She's the one who insisted we call you Nancy. Only because you're driving me crazy. I'm supposed to be helping her paint her room, but every other brushstroke she's like, where do you think she is now? How do you think the Hardy Boys are doing? Why do you think she hasn't called? What do you think Laurie Gerard is wearing? Oh, George, that is so not true. I could care less what Laurie Gerard is wearing. So come on, Nancy. You're on a train full of famous people bound for who knows where. So dish already, would ya?
Bess, calm down. Look what you did. You got paint in my hair.
I'm sorry. You know, actually, that looks kind of cool.
Nice try, Bess.
No, really.
You're just saying that because you're afraid I'll bail and you'll wind up having to paint this dump all by yourself.
George, I kid you not. You should seriously think about doing some major highlights in that color.
What color is it?
Adobe beige.
Nice try, Bess.
What's going on, Nan?
We can just hang up, be like, bye, nothing's going on. No, we won't do that.
Our hostess has disappeared.
What do you mean, disappeared?
I mean, the train went into a tunnel, everything went dark, and when the train came out of the tunnel, no Laurie. She just disappeared.
Publicity stunt.
My thoughts exactly.
Remember the time she was allegedly kidnapped from her Vegas hotel room?
Yeah, the guy across the hall just happened to have a camera and got it all on tape.
It made the evening news in practically every city in the country. And then there was her daring escape the next morning.
Only it turns out she faked the whole thing. Of course,
course, she claims her ex-boyfriend faked it to get back at her. She thought she was really being kidnapped.
Like anybody believes that.
Sounds to me like somebody has been spending a lot of time reading the tabloids.
George has.
Very funny. So what else is going on?
Okay, so Lori has faked her own kidnapping before.
Before she disappeared, Lori told us that the purpose of this train trip is to find out what happened to Jake Hurley, the train's original owner.
Was he murdered or something?
No one knows. He was married to a woman named Camille, but she died, and he eventually vanished while mining for gold. His train was found abandoned in Blue Moon Canyon, Nevada, with no one on board but his dead engineer.
Whoa, spooky. Have any theories?
Roy wants to know what color Adobe beige is. Probably kind of a cream, right? Boomer says, locked. Have you tried a Sawzall? Tis. Like, I'm picturing those, like, Adobe houses.
Not yet, but the train is also rumored to be haunted by his dead wife.
So first Hurley's wife dies, then Hurley vanishes, then the engineer dies, then Lori vanishes. A pattern, maybe?
Bess, do us all a favor and leave the detective work to Nancy, okay?
Wouldn't Adobe beige be light blonde? Yes. Which, George has very dark hair, so that would be extreme. Like, she'd basically be going salt and pepper. Also, I always forget that this game is in Colorado.
Has either of you been to Copper Gorge, Colorado?
Never heard of the place. Why?
Well, that's where the train I'm on is headed. Apparently Jake Hurley buried his wife Camille there after she died on the train.
She died on the train? Ew, creepy.
Jake used to see strange lights at night bobbing alongside the train and thought it was Camille dancing.
Super creepy. Yeah, I just got goosebumps. Which is hard when you're practically covered in paint.
I'll talk to you guys later.
Remember, when in doubt, call.
I need to do some painting. Ooh, I like this one. There's some Adobe beige. Ooh, it's patterned. It's just like cream on cream. That's nice. Yeah, this is more my vibe. Just funny because I can remember the first time I played this game, Camille's car, the green one, being my favorite. Like the bright green. Luke says we should get a train. I know, right?
Eliza Sandberger.
Received of Jake Hurley for the price of $3.73. One Krollmeister doll with decorative red ribbon on the 16th day of June, 1880. Make sure it has a caboose. Well, that's the fun part, so duh. Alright, red ribbon. Eliza Sandberger. Okay. Trying to collect her whole collection.
Hey, Nancy, right?
That's right, Nancy Drew.
Amateur detective, huh? Ever thought about becoming a real detective? You know, like me?
You mean become a police detective? No, I never have.
It's a great job, you know. I love it. You, heard about those bank robberies I solved, right?
Yes, I sure did.
Baffling case. Two-man team at 17 banks in 3 states in 5 days. FBI had no idea who the perps were. But after forcing their vehicle to a stop, confronting them, despite the fact that they were armed and giving chase, I single-handedly made the collar.
17 banks in 3 states in 5 days. Wait a minute. Wait, is it New England? Because that makes a lot more sense. I'm picturing like the Midwest. Like, you can't even drive through 3 states in 5 days. Boomer says, according to the CPI calculator, $3.75 in 1913, earliest online, is equal to $117.38 in December of 23. Okay, she was buying fancy dolls. Thomas the Train for sale. Okay, that's like... They're robbing at least 3 banks a day. That sounds exhausting.
I heard they stopped because you accidentally rear-ended them.
You heard wrong. You see, Nancy, when somebody does something really remarkable in this country, the first thing everybody else does is try to tear them down. Reporters, late-night comedians, even some of my fellow officers, all have been spreading vicious lies about me. Why? Because they've never done anything remarkable in their sorry little lives, and they're jealous. Anyway, you should look around in here. Lots of interesting stuff. This was Jake's private car, you know.
Cool. Boomer says also make sure your train can broadcast I think I can when going up a grade. Oh, perfect. Alright, so we're on this train with a vanished woman who has faked her own kidnapping before, a romance writer on a deadline, a ghost hunter who believes that the missing woman was kidnapped by an electromagnetic disturbance, and a detective whose claim to fame was accidentally rear-ending a bank robber. Yeah, I think the Hardy Boys actually are our best bet. Ooh.
So, what do you think happened to Lori?
She could have been kidnapped, she could have been tossed off the train, she could be hiding from us. But I obviously won't know which until I've gathered all the facts.
So, you're gathering facts?
Of course, it may not look it because that's my style. I'm a low-key kind of guy. But hey, don't worry. I'll know the facts when I know the facts. The truth can't be rushed, you know.
Is this like when I say I'm writing and I'm actually just staring at the wall? Kind of vaguely thinking about my story?
Have you had a chance to talk to Charlena Purcell?
Now, why would I want to do a thing like that?
What about John Gray?
The ghost guy? Total quack. Only reason I talked to him would be to arrest him for fraud.
So you're collecting facts by not talking to any of the witnesses. Okay. Luke says only confident trains for us. I know I can?
I understand that you found something on the floor in the dining car.
Yeah, at first I thought it was an old coin, but it turned out to be some kind of slug.
Where do you think it came from?
Probably been lying there for 100 years. May have served a purpose back then, but now, worthless.
May I see it?
Sure. In fact, here, keep it. Wear it around your neck or something. That way, when people ask you where you got it, you can tell them Tino Balducci gave it to you. The Tino Balducci.
Ooh.
Oh, thank you.
What else can I do for you?
You've been a big help.
Don't mention it.
Okay. Luke. So this was Jake Hurley's private car. So this was the man's office. What do you think of the office decor? I don't like the wallpaper. I like a lot of the wallpaper on this train, actually. Oh my gosh, I'd had a thought and it's already gone. Something about the... like... So everyone on this train, other than, you know, us and the Hardy Boys is some kind of minor celebrity. And they all have just massive egos, but the less of a claim to fame they have, the bigger their ego is. Camille with Hagar Anderson and Chantilly Hildegard. Okay. Let's see. Move suspenders. Uber says based on that I should have the world's biggest ego. Luke says wallpaper's pretty cool. Woodwork is maybe a little floral for my tastes, but it's nice. Okay. And okay, I think that one has pigtails, but I'm not sure. Gemstones and how to identify them. Okay. Amethyst, citrine, tiger's eye. Incarnate. Tourmaline. I love the tourmaline. It's so pretty. Yeah, watermelon tourmaline is just so pretty. Incarnate. Peridot. Random. Okay.
Looks like an old-fashioned cigar box. Wonder why it's locked. And what does AG mean?
It's silver. We don't know what to do with that yet.
JH. For Jake Hurley, obviously. Must be Jake's insignia.
Okay. Hat. Hang on. Oh, hey, this one lifts off. Ah. Oh. Boomer says, money trivia. During the free banking era in the 1800s, banks could issue their own currency. Some chose to issue $3 bills, but those weren't federal notes, they were more like IOUs from the bank. Oh, cool! We love trivia! Yeah, that one. Okay. Connect all the pipes.
There, all done.
Okay, that was really fun, actually. I quite enjoyed that. Right.
An old scale. Strange. It seems to be built into the wall. Those symbols look like the ones I saw in that sampler.
All I have is a 3. I cannot because there's more than one of those things, so we have to figure out how to unlock all of them. Just jump from car to car in a moving train, it's fine. It's like there's this one here which needs some kind of weird screwdriver or something. This one we need a 4-digit code for. We found the emergency brake. Okay. Hang on. Trying to remember. There's got to be one in this car too, right?
An eagle. Where else have I seen an eagle?
I need more of those slugs. I don't think I've seen any.
What have you got?
Do you think maybe one of Lori's other guests is in on her disappearance?
It's certainly possible.
From the way she talked, it didn't sound like she knew any of them.
Maybe that's what she wanted us to think.
Or maybe that's what one of them wanted her to think.
Well, whether Lori disappeared by force or by choice, what we've got to do now is find her.
Absolutely.
See you later.
If you need anything, just let us know.
It says that Nancy got bit by a radioactive eagle. Ah, that explains why she's so eagle-eyed. Okay. Wonder where I might find more of those slugs.
Another gemstone.
I swear there's somewhere in here where you find 2 of them. And apparently the last time I played this game was in the summer of 2020. Yeah, I have no clue where anything is. There we go. Hang on.
Check. Check. Check.
Okay, I have to find Lori. Take a minute.
Check.
Call the engineer. Check. Boomer points out the Hardy Boys don't have to run around, they can do all their work from a table. Maybe it's like a Nero Wolfe kind of situation. Like, they're like Nero Wolfe sitting and thinking, and we as Nancy are the leg man, Archie Goodwin. Running around collecting all the clues to bring back to them to think about. Welcome back, Benjamin! How you doing? Right.
Finish that.
Did that. I'm tired, how's y'all? Also, I'm tired. We were really, really busy all weekend, and I've been busy all day today. So. But hey, we're playing Nancy Drew now.
Check.
Yeah, I'm missing something somewhere. Right. I think it was Camille's car.
Sickly Sarah caught a germ so new, it made one of her pretty green eyes turn blue.
Okay. So there's a doll with heterochromia. But does she do grammar? Right. Sickly Sarah. Weird noises in this car. Well, I can't snoop in that. Tragic. Ah, there's one. Beautiful.
The Little Book of Samplers.
Okay. What things mean? Interesting. Sounds like the TARDIS. It does! Or Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Possibly both. Okay. Yeah. Aha!
That square and that duck look very familiar.
Okay, well, I was able to open a door. Whoa. Okay then. Hmm. Okay. Map drawers. Another slug. And
Silver. What do all those colors have to do with silver?
that would be that AG. Okay, silver. Orange. Blue. Green. Red. Purple. Whoop. Yellow. Orange, blue, green, red, purple, yellow. Yes. Alright. Oh, I wish I could snoop the other papers in there. Ooh, this one has a false bottom.
Looks like to make this thing, whatever it is, I'm going to need a spyglass, a pickaxe, and a lamp. Citrine, amethyst, zircon, those are all gemstones, I think.
Thirsty nose. Okay. Right, we found secret blueprints. It's always a good day when you find secret blueprints. Hey, could be so upset about something that befell a doll. But I accidentally knocked the one Camille calls Naughty Tina off the shelf and literally, I'm afraid, fractured its tiny skull. Okay. So the broken one is Naughty Tina. I think Camille might have been a quirky person. She liked to sing and dance, and she collected dolls, which she gave odd names. Okay, despite my heartfelt apologies, Camille burst into tears at the sight of the crack, which now traverses Naughty Tina's face. Tears which continued unabated for hours. I told her I'd order her another as soon as we reach Copper Gorge. Okay.
According to that diagram I found, those 6 gemstones are supposed to go in these 6 holders, but I have no idea which one goes where.
Okay. See, haunted train with a fun steampunk machine room. What more can you want? At least it doesn't clunk like the one in Treasure in the Royal Tower does. Okay, all 4 corners. Oh. Ah. Huh. Oh. There we go. Boomer says I had to look it up. The TARDIS sound was generated using a broken down piano frame. It was standing up in the corner of the workshop with its strings exposed, and I scraped a front door key down the bass string. We recorded that and added loads of feedback. Interesting! Okay. Door is open. Next car.
Lori?
Oh my gosh! I never thought you'd be the one to find me. No offense. Nadine?
Nancy Drew.
Well, as you can see, I wasn't really spirited away by ghosts or anything. That bookshelf in the dining car, you step on this thing in the floor in there, and it slides open. I practiced disappearing for weeks.
Alrighty.
So it was just all for show?
Well, not entirely. See, here's the deal. My dad wound up with this train when he bought out Noram Shipping. They'd been storing it in this old warehouse outside St. Louis for so long that everybody had just forgotten about it. Anyway, after like mass begging on my part, Dad had the train restored to working condition and got me an engineer and track permits and all that other stuff until finally, here we are, on our way to find out what happened to Jake Hurley.
I think you were going to explain why you kidnapped yourself.
Oh, right. Well, see, I was one of the first people in like 100 years to set foot on this train, okay? Everything was just the way it was when Jake disappeared. Except, I also found this. It's a letter that Jake wrote in 1901 to his niece back east. He was real paranoid about claim jumpers, which is why he never told anyone where his mine was. But he was also afraid something would happen to him and no one would ever know where it was. So he wrote this letter to his only living relative, Ruth Kensington. Here, take it.
You want me to have it? Why?
Because you found me. See, in that letter, Jake tells Ruth that everything she needs to figure out where his mine is on this train. He also warns her that his wife's spirit is on the train too, which kind of creeps me out. But the thing is, to find Jake's lost mine, we need the train.
How do you know this Ruth person didn't find the mine decades ago?
Mostly because I found that letter in the wastebasket. It was like she'd gotten so ticked off, trying to follow her nutty uncle's clues, that she finally said to heck with the whole thing.
Okay.
What about the other people you invited on this trip?
If you want to show them that letter, go ahead. It's totally up to you. We're going to Copper Gorge because that's where Jake buried Camille, so I figured his mine might be somewhere around there too. But if you think we need to go somewhere else, you just let me know and I'll have the engineer take us there.
Alrighty then.
How come you didn't try to find the mine yourself?
Maybe I did. Or maybe I just thought letting other people try to find it would be a good excuse to throw a party. I like parties.
A party that you kidnapped yourself from?
How well do you know your guests?
Well, I don't know you or those Harvey guys at all.
Hardy. Frank and Joe Hardy.
Whatever. I didn't know John Gray before this either, but I love his show, and I figured he'd jump at the chance to investigate an honest-to-goodness haunted train, and now that someone has finally found me, I can finally go meet him for real.
Okay.
What about Charlena Purcell?
I just know her from her books, which are so good. In fact, I just started reading her latest one, The Moon Tells No Lies. See, what I'd really like to do is write romance novels. Everybody who knows me says I'd be really good at it. In fact, a while back, I sent Charlena some ideas, just to see what she thought.
And?
She hated them.
Okay, so we have confirmation that she's a narcissist. Like, that's my takeaway from that bit of dialogue.
How well do you know Tino Balducci?
I met Tino right after he got famous for solving those robberies. Inviting him here for this was a no-brainer. I mean, what an awesome detective. And those piercing eyes of his, you just know his mind's in there going 90 miles an hour.
Oh boy.
Guess I better get to work.
I'll be waiting.
Oh boy. Let's see.
Locked, naturally. Wonder how you open it. Wonder how you're supposed to get this open.
Okay.
Looks like a dance floor, maybe?
Oh yeah. No. We have a camera this time. forgot about that. Boom. We'll need that later. Boomer says it's a no-brainer. Perfect for me. Ha ha. Okay. This room's cute. I like it.
I can use this to open that grate I saw in Camille's car.
Awesome. Okay.
The 3rd of November, 1901, from somewhere in Colorado. Dear Ruth, I know that we've never met, but now that your father, my estranged brother, is gone, you are my only living relative. I am writing to you to tell you about my mine before I, too, depart this earth, and its location is lost forever. I cannot tell you outright where it is, lest this epistle fall into the wrong hands, but with the information which follows, and with my train, which shall be yours upon my death, I promise that you'll be able to find it. First, you will need a map. To obtain it, know that my travels have taken me all over this great country, to towns which can be difficult to find, to Calico, Silverado, and Central City, to Dodge City, Virginia City, and Tombstone. To locate the mine on the map, you'll need my projector. When it comes to placing the stones, you'll need to ask someone who holds a warm place in my heart. I have stored his name accordingly, but to retrieve his name, you'll have to give the dolls an order. This will require looking inside Camille's dancing shoes for the name of their maker, and wearing the shoes as you perform her favorite step on the dance floor. As for my beloved Camille, she has 4 words for you, words which, when translated into numbers and used in combination, will help power my projector. But alas, she's taken them with her to her grave. So go to Copper Gorge, Colorado, and pay your respects, and let some of her goodness rub off on you. I promised Camille that this train would always be her home. In return, she promised to never leave, and indeed she never has. People say I'm crazy, but I've seen her and heard her and feel her presence on the train even today, 20 years after her untimely death. So above all else, my dear niece, let nothing happen to my train. It holds wonderful things. Kindest regards, Jake Hurley.
Okay. I could see why she got so frustrated that she threw the whole thing away. Calico, Silverado, Central City. Central City. Dodge City. Virginia City. And Tombstone. Okay. So, that's how we get the map. And then we need the projector. To get the projector, need to find a name. The name, we need to give the dolls an order. To give the dolls an order, we need to do Camille's favorite dancing step in her favorite dancing shoes.
I wonder if this has something to do with that list of cities Jake mentioned in his letter to Ruth.
Alright, hang on. So... Calico. There we go. Calico. Alright. Silverado. Yeah. Central City. Well, how many C's are there? Boomer says, ooh, early Tetris. It's like reverse Tetris. taking things out until there's nothing left. I feel like this needs to be higher, lower, something? Did I do one of these wrong? Is there a way to reset it? Alrighty. Well, I don't know. Do they have to be in order? Because... nope. Won't work. Alright. What words you're looking for? I am trying to spell Central City. But I have like one letter that I can't get. Wait, there we go. Central City. There we go. Okay. Then Dodge City. Alright. Boom. And Virginia City. Boom. And Tombstone. Okay. We have left is
Yes, I'm done. Strange. All that's left is a jumble of letters.
T B A A. Yes, NVRZTBAA. Okay.
Darn, the name of the shoes is so faded I can't tell what it is. Maybe Bess and George can help me figure out who made them.
The Würzburg. Okay. Just gonna step out here.
That must be the projector Jake mentioned in his letter to Ruth.
Okay. I'm gonna call Bess and George and see if they can help with those shoes.
Hello?
Hi, Bess.
Hey, what's going on?
Lori gave me a letter that Jake Hurley wrote to his niece, telling her how to find his gold mine.
If Lori knows where the mine is, why doesn't she just make a beeline for it?
Because apparently Jake was too paranoid to tell his niece outright where it was. So he filled the letter with all these weird, obscure clues. I don't think Lori could make heads or tails of them. I know I barely can.
Sounds like when he lost his wife, Jake may have lost a few marbles as well.
It happens.
The name of the company that made Jake's wife's dancing shoes is too faded to read. But to find Jake's mine, I need to know what it is.
Hey, I know what you can do. Take a picture of them with your cell phone, then send it to us, and we'll check them out for you.
But I thought you guys had to paint Bess's room.
Boring. Besides, we're going to have to take a break soon because we're almost out of paint. Probably because Bess has gotten more on me than she has on the walls. Anyway, send us a picture of the shoes via cell phone and we'll get right on it.
You guys are the greatest.
I know. Need anything else?
Send it via cell phone.
I get the definite feeling Lori Gerard has a thing for Tino Balducci.
I saw him on TV once. He is very cute.
Lori thinks he's the world's greatest detective.
And you don't?
I think he thinks he is.
I think the only reason he's famous is because he looks good on camera. Well, I think you two are being way too hard on him. Just because he's good looking doesn't mean he can't also be smart. In fact, maybe Balducci tries to look incompetent on purpose. You know, to give the bad guys a false sense of security so it's easier to catch them. Ever think of that? No, Bess, I never did. Well, there you go.
He's not Columbo.
I'll talk to you guys later.
Remember, when in doubt, call.
Okay. View pictures. Send. Bess. Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh yeah. Let's see here. Okay.
I'm done with that.
Oh, we can go to Camille's car.
I'm done with that.
And okay, so we need to go to Camille's car. We need to talk to Frank and Joe.
Finish that.
All right. So Camille's car. All right. Also, we need to start collecting these.
Well, it's the little lady detective. What do you need?
I found Lori. She was hiding in the caboose.
Oh, yeah?
Little lady detective. Boomer says the checklist needs a Valley Girl response sometime. I am so done with that. Gosh.
She disappeared because she wanted to see who'd find her first, which is why she left that clue behind.
That slug? I mean, I knew that slug was a clue. That's why I gave it to you. I mean, I could have found Lori no sweat. But I thought, hey, why not give somebody else a shot? And you came through. Nice job.
Thank you.
But look, from now on, if you come across anything that may have something to do with Jake Hurley and his mind, let me know, okay? Just so I can, give you advice, help you sort things out. After all, the opportunity to work side by side with a world-famous police detective doesn't come along every day, you know.
Okay. This one reminds me strongly of the final scene, in that everyone's kind of awful. Boomer says, speaking of slugs. Yeah.
How did you and Lori meet?
We met at a party in New York. Nice girl. Not a lot upstairs, but nice girl.
Did you two go out?
Nope, no, never went out. No.
Uh-huh. Okay. That sounded very believable.
What do you think happened to Jake Hurley?
He probably died trying to work that mine of his all by himself. But I'll let you in on a secret. I'm onto something that could crack this case wide open.
What did you find?
Sorry, can't go into detail. Let's just say that thanks to yours truly, what happened to Jake Hurley won't be a mystery much longer.
Hope I didn't take up too much of your time.
Anything for a fellow detective.
Oh boy.
Wonder what Jake used this for.
Okay.
That could be one of the gems I need. Maybe Tina will let me take a closer look. That could be one of the gems I need. Maybe Tina will let me take a closer look.
What's going on?
Do you think I could take a closer look at that cougar statue?
What, that cigar clipper? Go ahead, take a look.
I'll bet I need this stone to build that thing in the diagram I found. But if I remove it now, Tina will know I'm onto something. Interesting. I just wanted to get a good look at it, that's all.
What else can I do for you?
Hope I didn't take up too much of your time.
Helping people's what I'm all about.
I thought what you were all about was gelling your hair. Oh yeah, we can open this. Orange. Blue. green, red, purple, yellow. Oh, interesting.
Wilson Carbide and Acetylene Works.
Sent you 2 lamps, which you should receive by the end of the month. When you get them, simply place carbide in the lower chamber, water in the upper chamber, then use the built-in flint lighter to ignite the jet of gas which results. As you'll see, the carbide lamp is an exceedingly practical device, especially for people in your dark and dangerous line of work. Would that you or I had invented it. In your last letter, you sounded quite despondent, old chum. I suppose this is understandable in view of your failure to strike it rich. But I am living proof of how quickly misfortune can turn into good fortune. Little did I suspect 5 years ago that my attempt to produce aluminum would instead produce calcium carbide, or that calcium carbide, when placed in water, would release acetylene. Yet suddenly I was the surprised but happy owner of the patent for an inexpensive way of manufacturing an extremely flammable gas. Just as I became wealthy when I sold that patent, I have no doubt that you too will someday be
Always your friend, Thomas Wilson.
handsomely rewarded for your efforts. Continue to keep me apprised of your adventures, dear friend, and never ever give up. May the lamps I sent you soon light your way to the gold you seek. Wilson.
Looks like a pattern for some kind of dance step. Maybe I better keep this.
Okay. Let's see. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 squares. Top to bottom, basically. Alright, so... And I need... It's all to the left, so I really only need 3. 4 by 3. Okay, so... 1, 2, 3, 4. Divide this up. Oh. Okay, so start is here. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now I have to number them. I'm gonna need a finer pen though. Do I have a finer pen here? Oh, maybe. Oh, that one's dry. Oh boy. Okay, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You know what? Maybe I can remember it. Because left foot is always first except on the last one. Alright.
That tool I saw in the caboose. I bet that's what you use to unscrew these bolts.
Oh, they turn each other. Okay. And that goes.
More pipes to connect.
Okay. I wonder why these ones are different color. Oh, that's why.
Here we go.
Okay, that was easy. Nice.
What's up?
I found Lori safe and sound in the caboose, so I guess those vibes you got about her being in serious trouble were wrong.
Strange. My vibes are never wrong. What's even stranger is I'm still getting them. So maybe they're not about Lori. Maybe they're about you.
Me? I'm not in any trouble.
Trust me. Either you or Lori is, or soon will be, in big trouble.
Could you be more specific?
Unfortunately, no.
Thanks for the chat.
Goodbye.
Oh, he's so helpful. Okay. Let's see. That. And
Nancy, what's with the Cheshire Cat grin?
You found Lori.
Yep, she's holed up in the caboose, and as a reward for finding her, she let me have this. It's a letter from Jake to his niece in which he leaves clues telling her how to find his mine. Only the clues are extremely obtuse.
You found Lori, you got the letter with all the clues. Guess you don't need us anymore.
Oh, Joe, quit pouting. Want any help?
Are you kidding? You bet I do.
Now you're talking.
all right. Let's see.
I found a diagram for some kind of contraption that Jake designed, but to operate it, you need his pickaxe and some kind of lamp or lantern, which it looks like he gave to somebody named Buell.
Buell? Joe, show her.
Show her what?
That old picture we found.
Okay.
We found this on the bookshelf. See? Buell's Supplies and Pawn Shop. That's gotta be the same Buell Jake gave his axe and lantern to.
Yeah, 100 years ago. And the guy was a pawnbroker, Frank. The stuff's probably long gone.
Or maybe it's still somewhere in Copper Gorge.
Well, that's where we're headed, so let's just hope for the best.
Right.
It stands to reason that the only person other than Jake who had to have known the location of Jake's mine was the engineer on Jake's train.
Very true.
Not necessarily. Jake might not have told him the exact location. Maybe he just had him drop him off somewhere nearby.
Well, still, we'd be way ahead of the game if we knew where that drop-off point was.
All right, have a good night, Boomer. Thanks for hanging out with us.
It would be nice to know his name.
The guy died more than 100 years ago. How are we supposed to find out his name?
Maybe Charlena What's-Her-Face could tell us how to go about it.
Good idea, Frank. I'll ask her. Balducci wants me to share everything I find out about Jake Hurley with him.
I'll bet he does.
He just doesn't want you to show him up again.
Yeah, he wants you to do all the legwork so at the last minute, bam, he can swoop in and grab all the credit.
I wouldn't tell him a thing, Nance.
Unless it's to get lost.
See you in a bit.
You better.
All right. Let's see if Bess and George have that name yet.
Hello?
Me again. Just checking to see whether you were able to find out the name of those dancing shoes yet.
Your wish is our command, but hang on to your hat. The name is a real mouthful. The shoes were made by Chaussette Chateauyantes, Chaussettetes, Chatoyantes. That's French for shimmering socks. Apparently, if you were into dancing in the 1870s, that was the company to get your shoes from.
Chaussette Chateauyantes. Got it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for letting us help.
A-N-T-E-S. Okay. Hey, Mrs. First. Welcome, welcome. How you doing?
Tino Balducci definitely has a thing for Lori Gerard.
So there's some kind of mutual attraction thing going on between them?
Something's going on between them. I'm not really sure what.
Well, find out. I mean, that's a mystery worth pursuing. To heck with this Jake Hurley stuff. You'd give up the possibility of finding gold for gossip, Bess? For gossip this good? Oh, yeah.
I better go.
Remember, when in doubt, call.
I love Bess. Alright. Oh. Grab the CHAUSS. Okay, yes. Alright, so now we have the name of the dancing shoes. And we have the step. Doing well. I was getting ready to watch earlier, but got distracted by playing House Flipper. That happens. I just now remembered what I had been planning to do. Watch your stream. I have stuff like that happen all the time. Oh, I'm glad you remembered. What are you up to in House Flipper? And 1 or 2?
Whoa!
Oh.
Somebody must have thrown the emergency brake.
Dadgummit, now I have to do the whole walk
Question
again.
is, did somebody throw the brake? Or something?
Oh, Joe, now you sound like Lori.
Hey, I was the first one on the scene, and I saw no one.
Who was the next person on the scene?
John Gray. Then Balducci came bursting through one door while Frank and the engineer came through the other. Boy, was that guy ticked. He said the train could have derailed. He reset the brake, muttered a few choice words, then headed back to the engine just as you and Lori showed up.
Everybody was there except Charlena. I don't think she left her laptop the whole time.
That sounds accurate. Ooh. This first says, just now I was working on a house in House Flipper 2. I finished up my Valentine build in House Flipper 1 last night and took some pics and sold it this evening. Nice! I need to take some pics and sell some houses.
There's no way Lori could have thrown the brake, unless she had someone else do it.
The question is, why? What did she or anybody else stand to gain by stopping the train?
Answer? Nothing. Which is why I think we should at least consider the possibility that something less human in nature may be at work here.
Ah, Joe.
I'm going to see if Balducci's done dusting for fingerprints. Catch you later.
Okay. And now we make the whole walk again. I'm now working on converting a sunny suburban bungalow into a somewhat Mediterranean house. Ooh, nice! Did you see that they released a roadmap today of like their next 6 months of House Flipper content updates and announcements? I'm very excited.
Glad you dropped in. Lori told me she'd given you a letter from Jake Hurley that says how to find his mine.
That's right. You can read it if you want.
Lori should have given that to me. I mean, I'm the trained professional around here. Let me take a look. I've seen enough. 2 words. Useless. Those are just the rantings of a guy who spent way too much of his life swirling mud around in pans under the hot sun. 5-star nut job.
Says I did. I'm so excited about all of that. It looks like good things are coming for both House Flippers. Yes, agreed. Like, DLC, content updates. Like, oh, I'm really excited. Oh, and that they are going to be putting curtains and candles that light up into House Flipper 2. Like, once that update comes out, I'm gonna be playing House Flipper 2 again. The lack of candles and like cozy lighting sources has been driving me nuts. So, one of the major reasons that I've been playing House Flipper 1 a lot. And just letting House Flipper 2 sit. Also, I really want to finish House Flipper 1. I've had it for years and never beaten the whole thing. So, I love that they asked people what they most wanted in House Flipper 2. Same! Like, that's a really smart way to work out their priorities. Okay, Nancy Drew. So this is Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon. A minor celebrity. I think if it had been a few years later, she would have been called an influencer, but just basically an influencer who runs on daddy's money, has acquired this train that was found abandoned in 1903. It had been a private train that belonged to some paranoid miner guy, and he had vanished, and the only person on board when the train was found was the engineer, and he was dead. And nobody knows where this lost gold mine was. Like, it was always a big secret. And so we're on the train with several other minor celebrities that she's gathered, and we're all supposed to be figuring out, like, from the train and the clues that the owner had left behind, that, like, what happened to the owner. Like, why did he vanish and the train was just found in the middle of nowhere? So, yeah, now to kick things off, the influencer faked her own kidnapping, but we already found her because she didn't hide all that good. So she's been stirring up drama for funsies. This guy's a cop, but he's incompetent. Like, his claim to fame was arresting bank robbers who he caught because he accidentally rear-ended them. Sounds like something an influencer would do. Oh yeah. So it's us, him, a ghost chaser who has a TV show, Charlena Purcell, who writes historical romance novels, and the Hardy Boys. So us and the Hardy Boys, we're good. Everyone else is just on an ego trip, and the less of a claim to fame they have, the more intense their ego is. So they're a lot to deal with. The train, however, is stunning. Stunning. I've been saving the train car in House Flipper for this reason, because
Lori says she found this letter in a wastebasket.
Exactly where it belongs.
Did you find any fingerprints on the emergency brake handle?
None that were any help, thanks to Casey Jones up there. I told the old geezer not to touch anything, but he went and got his big, fat, oily paw prints all over the place. If we didn't need him to drive the train, I'd charge him with obstruction of justice.
Did you do anything else besides look for fingerprints?
Of course. As a matter of fact, I found this. Probably fell out of the perp's pocket while he was yanking on the handle.
Looks like some kind of thermometer.
Yeah, like the kind a certain ghost hunter uses on that bogus show of his.
You think John Gray threw the brake? But why would he do that?
Because they're thinking about axing his show, that's why. I checked with this buddy of mine in L.A. Gray's got to come up with something real big real soon, or he's toast. And you can't get much bigger than a train with a spooky past that's prone to strange accidents, now can ya?
The train also has more cool history because the guy who owned the train, Jake Hurley, he and his wife had traveled on the train, but 20 years before his disappearance, she died on the train, and he believed that the train was still haunted by her ghost. And he claimed to see, like, floating lights alongside the train in the dark, and he believed that it was her dancing alongside the train, which I just think is beautiful. I love that idea. This first says, I wanted to use the train for my Valentine build, but there were too many things that I couldn't change to fit the colors of the challenge. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've never done the train, and I'm a little bit scared. But, like, other people have made it look cool. Maybe I can do it too?
Have you confronted John with your suspicions?
All in due time. I always like to get my ducks in a row before I make an arrest.
You're going to arrest him?
Hey, the train could have derailed. We're talking reckless endangerment, attempted assaults, maybe even attempted murder. John Gray wanted publicity. That's exactly what I'm gonna give him.
Train car would make a really cool romantic
You've been a
getaway.
big help.
Don't mention it.
That's a really good idea. Okay. So yeah, like this car was the owner's car, Jake Hurley. It was his private one. This is his office. I love it. I also really like this like cream on cream wallpaper that's going on in the hall. All right, we needed get to the back. Okay, this is the steampunk machine puzzle room. Every train needs one. I guess this must have been like their living room or something? I don't know. It's got seating, it's got music, and it has a place where his wife could dance. Speaking of... Alright, so it goes... 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes! Eek. Hello? Ooh, watermelon tourmaline. I love the colors on that. There's actually some gradients in House Flipper that match that. Okay. Yeah. The wife collected dolls. He broke one of them. He was in trouble. Yeah, I love the curved sofa.
Guess Camille liked to collect dolls.
Oh, we already knew that. Alright. Let's see. So... I don't think we know which one that one is yet. Okay, that one... I think that's Awful Ursula. Okay, she's the only one in the yellow dress, so I can write that down easy. Hello, Vibe. Welcome to the chat. How are you today? I'm doing well. We're solving puzzles up in here. Okay, I know which one that is. I know which one that is. Oh. That one's the red ribbon. Mama. Yee, that's a little creepy. Okay, that one has fancy jewelry. Wow. Okay. Oh, she's missing her shoes. Okay. The dark-haired doll looks like she's been through some hard times. This one? Poor doll. I mean, they are like 100 plus years old. 130. So, depending on how you look at it, they're very well preserved. Okay. They were manufactured in like the 1860s, so what can one expect? Yeah, curved sofa is a really cool detail. Okay, so we need like 2 more dolls. There's the one in the yellow dress and the one with the blue ribbon. Well, one who's missing her blue ribbon. Okay, it's in her car. Yeah, we found the doll that says Mama. Okay, yeah, yellow dress is awful Ursula. Yellow dress. Awful Ursula. Okay. And Thomasina O'Neill. Okay. Alright, one that's missing hair. Thomasina O'Neill. 2 L's. Okay. Alright, now I need to put these letters in order. So, C-H-U-S-S-E-T T-E-S-C-H-A-T-O-Y-A and T-E-S. Okay. Let's see. We can talk to him as long as we're here.
What's up?
Are you by any chance missing a small digital thermometer?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I am. When I went through the box I'd packed them in, that one over there, I came up one short. I was hoping to set up at least 6 in here so I could check for cold spots. How did you know I was missing one?
Because Tino Balducci found it by the emergency brake handle when he was dusting it for fingerprints. And now he thinks you're the one who pulled it.
That's ridiculous. I didn't have any reason to pull the emergency brake.
Hey, Brave. Welcome, welcome. How's it going? Yeah. Things are good here. I got to have a nice day. Busy, but nice. I found out about this little, like, French-Japanese inspired fusion bakery. So I went to that this morning with a couple of friends and got to try, like, all these very creative pastries. Even the ones that were like things I've had before were nothing like things I've had before. Apparently I've never been to a place with good baked goods. What does that mean? Yeah, everything was amazing. Like, seriously amazing. When I say that they combined, like, French and Asian baking things in the most creative ways, like, they had kimchi croquettes. Like, this was fusion done right. Oh, okay. Paid sabbatical is the way to go. Work fast. Okay, when you said benched, I was a little scared, but okay.
Is it true that your show is in danger of being canceled?
Newsflash, my show was canceled. Happened last night. But what nobody knows yet is that it's been picked up by a major TV network. Not only am I still on the air, but I'm sitting prettier than ever. Any other questions?
Okay, good to know. Brave says, I'm on paid sabbatical to March on a work therapist orders. Apparently I'd been working an unhealthy amount of hours and needed to see family and get Brave time. You? Working too many hours? No. No, you would never.
Were you in this room the whole time prior to that emergency brake thing?
Of course not. I made a couple of trips to my compartment in the sleeping car to get more equipment. But did I get an overpowering urge to pull the emergency brake while I was there? No.
How did I spend family time with my parents? Watching a Martin Scorsese movie which is 3 hours 25 minutes long. I'm trying to think what movie it was. I'm not familiar with Martin Scorsese. Like, there's a lot of names that I hear and I'm like, I've heard that name. Context? I got nothing. Nothing. Killers of the Flower Moon. Okay. Yeah, the trailers looked kind of interesting, but then I saw how long it was and it's like, I don't think that one's gonna be for me.
So are you making any progress in here?
Oh yeah, not only am I getting some real unusual EMRs, that's electromagnetic readings, but take a look at this.
You've got something?
I set up a camera and took some time-lapse photos. Sometimes I was in the room, sometimes I wasn't, but somewhere along the line, I managed to get a shot of Camille.
Where? You don't mean that little blob, do you?
Yep, that's Camille.
Okay.
You're skeptical. That's cool. Just remember, the key word when it comes to ghostly phenomena is energy. That blob is the result of Camille's residual life force, spirit if you will, reacting with the chemicals in the photographic paper.
Couldn't it just be a flaw in the photographic paper?
Okay, it could be that too, but it's not. Trust me.
Well, I'll catch you later.
Goodbye.
Brave says, the Ridley Scott Napoleon movie is 3 hours. Didn't watch that one either. If a movie's over, like 2.5 hours is like the max. If it's more than that, then I need to watch it at home where I can have an intermission. They're making the movies too long to not have intermissions. Eh.
I'm done with that.
We did go to see The Beekeeper the other night. Roy says the picture looks like Bigfoot. Nice.
I'm done with that.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't figured that out yet.
Finish that.
Oh man, Brave says, yes, I feel the same way, and my mother's hips needed an ice bath after Killers of the Flower Moon. Ooh. Oh man, I hadn't even thought of that. Yeah, that's way too long to just sit.
Finish that. Finish that. I'm done with that.
Okay, it was good. All right, maybe sometime if we can get an intermission. Our list of movies to watch together is absolutely ridiculous at this point. There's movies we've been meaning to watch for like 3 years and haven't gotten around to yet. Whoops.
Haven't done that yet. Still have to do that. Haven't done that yet.
Okay.
Check. I'm done with that. Check. Finish that.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Alright, let's go see if we can put the dolls in order. I think we have all of them now. Right? Oh, shoot, there was that other one. Alright, hang on. Here? Yes. Okay. Alright, the one with the jewelry. Chantilly Hildegard. Chantilly Hildegard. Okay. Right. Yeah, we went to see... It's funny. It's like we watched John Wick 3 Parabellum together last week. And then we went to go see The Beekeeper, the new Jason Statham movie. And then my dad had a watch party for John Wick Chapter 4. So we watched like 3 extremely violent man movies in a row. Like, alright, next thing we're watching is like a fluffy romance or something. It was really long. Like the John Wick movies are really long. I feel like they would work better as video games. Okay. EH. Yes. Ursula. Yawning Alice is gonna be 1, 2, 3. This one. It's TO, so she goes there. Anderson. Next. One goes there. This one's the one that says Mama, right? Mama. Yeah, that's so creepy. Hey, Luciation, welcome, welcome. How you doing? Okay, Edna the Terrible goes here. Red ribbon. She goes right here. The one who's missing her shoes goes here. Which one's the broken one? Naughty. She goes there. And plaid one goes here. Boom. Okay. Pretty okay. Good. Goes. Aw. Not sure what we would need this for. But apparently she had whatever that is. Okay. Now you're making me hungry. I wasn't hungry for dinner because I ate too many pastries earlier. So good. It was all so good.
Yes? Do you have any idea who threw the emergency brake?
I know exactly who did it.
You do?
Well, who else could it be? Camille. None of us has any reason to stop the train, but Camille? She doesn't want us to find Jake's mine, so she's going to do whatever she can to keep its location a secret.
Did you see something?
Well, no. But I'll tell you what. Your friend, that Jim Harley guy?
Not Jim, Joe Hardy.
Yeah, well, he thinks it's Camille, too. He just doesn't have the guts to say so.
Alright. Let's get Snoopy.
I hear that Tino and you used to be an item.
How did you know that?
I'm a good detective, remember?
We went out a couple of times, yeah. As for why we stopped going out, you'd have to ask him.
I'll come back later.
You go, girl.
Okay. After the stream, I'm gonna have to...
Looks like I need to enter 8 letters into this thing. The question is, which 8 letters?
We have letters. N V R Z T Ba. B Machinery! Okay, well, we have a map.
Jake's mine must be somewhere on this map, but where?
It's a big map, but we do have the map. I might need to check my notebook. See what's next. Okay. All right.
Check.
That.
I'm done with that.
Don't think I found all of them.
Can't check that off yet.
Yeah.
I'm done with that.
To do that.
Can't check that off yet.
Oh, wait. Hey, Mrs. First had pizza. Ooh, Hawaiian pizza. Nice. Brave had rice and chicken. That sounds really good too. PlayStation says I ate a maple sausage patty and an ice cream float. So healthy. Iconic. I think the word you're looking for is iconic.
Can't check that off yet.
What? I've got a couple things to do here. Oh!
What is that?
Okay, now that animation I'm impressed with. Because that was just ambiguous enough that it could be a person or it could be a blob. And it's very much up to you how you interpret that. I like that. Okay. Well, there's no clues here as to who threw the break, so... Nancy Drew just went Silent Hill. Oh, man. See, I love, like, a cozy spooky. Everything I've heard about Silent Hill, I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, I love things that are spooky, right? Just quietly, cozily spooky. I can't handle actual scary. Like a couple of weeks ago, we watched Jaws. Neither of us had ever seen Jaws before. It's a classic. We have to see Jaws. We watched Jaws. I'm still having nightmares about sharks. I am a grown adult. I should be able to watch a shark movie without having nightmares about sharks for weeks on end. That's ridiculous. But here I am. That needs to be a 4. That needs to be a 1, which means I need 3 to be available. All right. Yeah, it was really good. And watching it, like, there were a couple moments where I jumped a mile. But
There, with any
Okay.
luck, I just opened the stove in the dining car.
awesome. But like after watching it, I was just like, wow, that's a really good movie. Yeah. I was puzzled as to why Shark Movie was a classic, but no, I can totally see why that was a classic. That was really well made, very satisfying. A+ movie. And I was chill, and then had nightmares about sharks. It's like, man. Thought I was past that.
James Thurston.
Hereby agree to pay James Thurston the sum of $9 a week plus room and board in return for his services as the engineer of my train. That be Thirsty? That he gave the one of his clues to? Yeah, we need this. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 gems. I know where a 5th one is. Ugh. Rafe says, I thought the Halle Berry shark movie Dark Tide was scary because Shark Alley is a real place. Swimming there is literal suicide. I should probably never watch that. Like, I thought that I was like, I'm old enough for Jaws. I'm a grown-up. I can watch Jaws if I want to. It's just a shark. How scary is that gonna be? Well. So apparently shark movies are not for me.
Nancy, you missed it.
Missed what?
The argument of the century.
Joe, he's exaggerating.
Aw, come on, you heard them. They were ready to tear each other to shreds.
Who?
Charlena and Lori.
All we heard was the tail end of it, and unfortunately, we really couldn't make out what they were saying.
So you don't know what they were arguing about?
No.
But whatever it was, both of them were absolutely out of their minds, livid.
And it would probably be a good idea to find out why.
Let me look into it. I'll talk to you later, okay?
You know where to find us.
Hello.
I hear you found our hostess. Congratulations.
Let's see.
The others on the train, John Gray and that police detective, do you know them very well?
I don't know them at all. Needless to say, I don't watch television, so I've never even seen Mr. Gray before. Although I do know that his profession, if you can call it that, is rife with crackpots. As for Mr. Balducci, from what I've read, his success in solving those robberies was less a matter of talent and more a matter of being in the right place at precisely the right time.
In other words, you don't think he deserves all the attention he's getting?
No. You and those two Boy Scouts you're with would make better detectives. Is that all, dear?
Would you like to see the letter that Lori gave me as a reward for finding her?
The one in which Jake Hurley supposedly tells his niece how to find his lost mine? No, thank you. I happily leave it to you to try to solve the mystery of his disappearance. You can afford to look foolish, dear. I can't.
Oh, everybody's throwing shade. My goodness.
Aren't you even going to try finding out what happened to Jake Hurley?
No time. The only reason I haven't insisted that Lori release me from all this silliness is there's always the possibility that what happened to him has the makings of a bestseller. Although I highly doubt it.
Why are you so sure that Jake's story wouldn't make a bestseller?
His story is an all too common one. A man wanders off into the desert in search of gold and never returns. Why? He either doesn't have enough food or water, or he encounters hostile natives.
But why was his train found out in the middle of nowhere with just the dead engineer on board?
That does make the story a little more interesting. My guess is the engineer got tired of waiting for Jake to return, took off in the train to get help, and died of a heart attack along the way, after which the train rolled to a stop in Blue Moon Canyon. Anyone experienced enough to single-handedly run a steam engine would have been quite a bit older than Jake.
What do you think happened to Camille?
She probably died of something mundane like pneumonia or even measles. Now, if it was wintertime when she died, and they were in the mountains, Jake no doubt kept her body on the train for months before he buried her, which is rather delicious in a morbid sort of way.
Yeah, she's believable as a writer. Association says the only horror shows I like are the old horror of Dracula with Christopher Lee and The Mummy with Boris Karloff. I haven't liked the graphic horrors. Not even Tucker and Dale versus Evil? And The Mummy gives me nightmares too. Brendan Fraser one? No. I'm fine. But the Boris Karloff one? Hoo-hoo, nope. Like, why on earth do I get nightmares that easily? I'm, like, the Boris Karloff movie does not scare me. I get nightmares from it, but it doesn't scare me. Like, something about it just irks my subconscious. Uh-huh. Graves says, hilarious, at 37, my mother still doesn't let me swim out of the shallows. Losation says, moms just don't change. Graves says, this is so true, all she has to do is give me a finger click and an Irish glare. Losation says, we love our offspring. Oh good, I'm glad to hear it. And Losation admits that, okay, Tucker and Dale was amusing. It's just a doozy of a day.
Do you have a theory as to who pulled the emergency brake?
Well, I know it wasn't me. I assume it wasn't you, and I highly doubt it was Lori. So that leaves those two friends of yours, Mr. Gray and Mr. Balducci.
Have you run across many haunted train stories in the course of your research?
A few. But most train-bound ghosts that I've come across seem to have better things to do than sit around pulling emergency brakes.
What were you and Lori arguing about earlier today?
Lori and I? We weren't arguing. We were simply discussing a topic about which both of us are passionate, that's all.
Were you discussing her wanting to be a romance novelist?
No. And even if we were, that's really none of your business. I know that sounds harsh, but really, Nancy, eavesdropping is so tacky.
Actually, it was Frank and Joe Hardy who overheard you. They said I should talk to you before they gave me all the gory details, but since you obviously don't want to tell me your side of the story, I'll just have to get the scoop from them.
No, you don't have to do that. A storyline that Lori submitted to me found its way into my last book, despite the fact that she never received compensation for it. She's reading the book now, and when she got to that part, she freaked.
Ooh.
You stole one of her ideas?
She had no business sending me unsolicited material. But technically, yes. Now legally she can't prove anything, and I'm certainly not about to admit anything. And it's not as if she needs the money. But that's what we were arguing about. For what it's worth, I'm going to talk to this producer I know to see if he'll cast Lori in his next movie. It'll help ease my conscience, and who knows? She could wind up being a star. I mean, she is blonde.
Whoa, she's cold. I think I met her at an author event once.
I'll touch bases with you later.
My publisher thanks you.
Ouch. Okay. Alright. Need to tell John about the lights. I would like to talk to Lori and see if I can get more story from her. And then we need to tell Frank and Joe that we have the name of the engineer.
Hey, glad you stopped in. You gotta listen to this.
What have you got?
I put this digital recorder in the corner where Camille showed up in that picture, and turned it on so it would just keep recording. Now when you play it back at normal volume, all you hear is background noise. But when you turn the volume way up and run the signal through a filter or two, hear that?
I hear something. It kind of sounds like a woman singing.
Not just any woman.
Camille.
So be careful what you say in here. She's listening.
I saw a bunch of weird glowing lights outside the window of the sleeping car.
Really? Actually, I'm not surprised.
Charlena said Jake Hurley used to see them too, only he attributed them to his dead wife, Camille.
They're probably some form of piezoelectricity. See, my guess is quartz crystals in the ground are being compressed as the train passes over them, and the resulting voltage, called piezoelectricity, is manifesting itself as glowing lights, probably because of some quirk in the train's shape or in the composition of the metals used in its construction. It was custom built, remember?
So it's a natural phenomenon, not a ghostly one?
Take it from me. Old Mother Nature is capable of some pretty scary stuff.
Thanks for the chat.
Come back anytime.
Okay. Welcome back, Trumpet. Train mystery's going well. We did find Lori. She kidnapped herself. So now we're trying to figure out where Jake Hurley's secret gold mine was. Like, why he disappeared. How you doing? Yep, she faked it because she wanted to see who the best detective on board was, and figured that whoever found her first, she would give the clue that she'd found to where Jake Hurley's mine was. You know, as you do.
Yes?
Bye.
You go, girl.
Okay, can't get her side of the argument. Okay, I think the next thing we need to do is talk to Frank and Joe, which
Finish that.
might take us to the next, like, section of the game. I think there should be one more of those metal slugs somewhere.
Finish that. Check.
Okay, did that. Still haven't gotten to do that. That. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So, you know, we were watching the John Wick movies, trying to get caught up for my dad's watch party. And the third one, he fights this really, really tall guy. Like, big guy. Enough so that during the fight scene, I was like, I have to just stop and look him up. I gotta know. Big guy that John Wick was fighting is 7'4.5". Like, what? Like, how are people that tall?
Hey, how's it going?
Tino found one of John Gray's thermometers by the emergency brake handle and is getting ready to throw the book at him.
John Gray through the emergency brake? Why would he do that?
Like, that's a full foot taller than the tall guy of our friend group. Like, during the fight, he kept, like, just holding John Wick by the head at arm's length. So that he's just swinging in empty air. It's like, oh.
Tino thinks it's because John's TV show is in danger of being canceled. But when I asked John, he told me his show was just picked up by a broadcast network.
I still say there's less to all this than meets the eye, if you get my drift.
I get your drift, Joe. I have lived with your drift for years. I am saddled with your drift.
All right, all right.
I have lived with your drift for years is one of the most older sibling things I've ever heard.
I think I know the name of Jake Hurley's engineer, James Thurston.
Great! What else do you know about him?
Well, nothing.
Good.
Good?
Yeah, finding out more about him will give us something to do. We'll look into it.
See you later.
You better.
Okay.
Check.
All right. Okay. So I need citrine, amethyst, zircon, peridot, tiger's eye, and tourmaline. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Alright. Check in with Tino. I don't wanna, but I will. Alright. And then we'll go back to the Hardy Boys. Back and forth we go. And see if they have any information on the engineer yet. Yeah, Tino is a lot. All ego, no competence.
What's going on?
How come you told me you and Lori never went out, and she told me you did?
Don't you ever stop asking questions?
Ooh.
When people start answering them honestly, I do.
I dumped her, okay? I'm not proud of what I did. I'm not happy about what I did, but it's done. It's over. Now let's drop it.
If you didn't want to dump her, why did you?
You are incredibly irritating, you know that? I dumped her because people said going out with her would make me look bad. Said she was a joke, that no one took her seriously. Said if I started hanging with her, no one would take me seriously. So I stopped calling.
But you didn't stop caring.
No. Now take a powder. I don't feel like talking anymore.
Alright. I'm a romance writer. I don't understand half the reasons people break up. I'm like, why didn't you just live happily ever after?
Hey, how's it going?
Were you able to find anything out about Jake's engineer, that James Thurston guy?
Good news and bad news. The good news is he had a wife in Copper Gorge, so he may have had children.
The bad news is our internet service provider stopped providing before we could use our cell phones to find out anything else.
That's okay. We can do more checking when we get to Copper Gorge.
Right.
Oh yeah. Trumpet says, and yet you balk at video game flirting. Sorry, I find that very amusing. Oh, I find it amusing too. I write romance. Romance. Baldur's Gate 3, they're flirting. Just cute little flirting. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm so flustered. Like, yeah, I got nothing. I don't have an explanation for that. Like, I could read books that would curl your hair, but it's like but I get flustered in a video game. So, all right. I believe that this is a good stopping point. I think that this is a good stopping point for the game if we want to do the rest of it another time. I am planning to be off next Monday, though. So we have to remember all of these ego-tripping people for like 2 weeks. Trumpet says maybe it just caught you off guard because you weren't expecting it. Kind of, like, I knew that there was romancing and stuff in the game. I wasn't expecting that scene with that character to happen at that time. So I was very much taken off guard. Do Mystery Tuesday. That's not a bad idea. Alright, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I think it's time to wrap it up and then I can go and get real food instead of just pastry. But yeah, so I'll wrap it up here. I will be back tomorrow. Correct? 3 o'clock Eastern, the usual time. Playing House Flipper. I'm looking forward to it personally. But until then, here, I should save the game first to make sure that I don't forget. Just because I know myself and I don't want to lose all my progress. Okay, so all right. So until then, thank y'all so much for watching. I'm so glad you were able to spend this time with me, and I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your evening. Bye, everybody.